Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. And we're not going to say the name because we don't want to get demonetized, but this is going to be a great, lovely
even
day.
say our name.
Yeah, we can't even say our name. We're going to think about what we're going to do about that because we don't want that to. We don't want that to get in our way for the rest of our careers.
True, but we can say our real names.
Yes.
Right. Who's here today?
Well, me. I'm Jessica.
I'm Bose.
I'm Tiffany. No, Tiff. I like Tiff.
I'm Nicole.
So we'll call you Tiff.
Oh, she said Nicole.
Oh,
It's actually my in trouble name, but also I kind of like being in trouble.
I know you kind of like being in trouble.
Bad girl.
Bad.
So today we have this really exciting topic, and you guys know I love the sexual topics. And today
That's why
we're going to
Jessica's
talk
here.
about losing our virginity. I remember mine very clearly, but I kind of want to see where you guys
How
are
many
at.
times did it take you to lose your virginity?
Whoa. More than
What?
once?
Yeah.
Wait, no, you can only lose it
three
once.
times. 3? No, I tried losing it 3
Oh,
times.
so there was not
it
penetration.
didn't go.
Yeah.
How did that? Okay, explain.
Okay, so like the first time the first time I was like, you can't go in this hole because then I want to save it for marriage. So let's do the other one. I talked about it in a different episode, but it went in and I was like, immediately take it out. Second time was Valentine's Day. We had been together for a year.
What year? How old were you? Paint the picture a little bit more.
Oh, sorry. I was 16 years of age.
So you're in high school.
I was in high school, but my boyfriend and I had been dating for almost a year at Valentine's Day. Our anniversary was in March. So on Valentine's Day, it was like almost a year. And I was like, I'm gonna marry this guy. So it's okay. Like under the eyes of God, it's okay. And so
When you're young, you're so stupid.
I know. And I did
You really think everything lasts
I was
forever.
like, I got condoms. Because I was very paranoid about getting pregnant. So I was like, I got condoms. I'm on birth control pills. I got non-oxal 9. Like the fucking.
What is that?
The fucking spermicide.
Oh, damn.
Oh my
It's
god.
called what?
No, non-oxal 9 is the ingredient in spermicide that's kind of bad for you.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. But spermicide, yeah.
Do you just
that
put
was
that
a
up
thing.
in you?
Yeah, how does that work?
You put it. It's a lube. You put it on the condom or
Oh.
on the penis or whatever.
Like,
it
if you
is.
already have a condom, why do you need sperm?
Yeah, 'cause
No,
doesn't
you
it have
don't.
it?
Oh.
It's just and condoms sometimes have it lubricated
On the inside,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I was just extra paranoid about getting pregnant
Wow.
because I was like, I can't be having a teen pregnancy.
Yeah.
So, we tried to lose it in my car because that's where you try to lose it when you don't have a home to go to lose it, and it wouldn't go in. It was just like. It wouldn't even like barely, like not even the tip could go in. Like nothing was going
Just
in.
a
I
brick
was
wall.
so scared, and it was like, and it just hurt. I also tampons were hard to put in at the time, but then the third time. It was our anniversary. I got a hotel room because it was attached to the restaurant I worked at. So we got a discount, and one of the waiters got it for us because you had to be 18 to rent the hotel room.
Wow.
So one of the waiters got
He's
it
like,
for
I'll help
us.
you lose your virginity.
Yeah. We ordered Chinese food from our favorite Chinese food place. Got some orange chicken.
Of course.
I got a bottle of champagne from one of the waiters that like knew that what was going on that night.
Why are all these
waiters are
adults?
trying to catch you late.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Well, 'cause
crazy.
I was the hostess, and so it was like they were all older. They were in college, and like I was like the little hostess, and they're like, "Oh my god, she's losing her virginity tonight!" And so
Wow.
they all like
It's a
sent goodies
community
and stuff.
event.
It was cute.
That's
I know.
very strange to me
That is
that it was a
weird.
community
We
event.
also brought my brother's PlayStation 2,
I
and
thought
we
you were going to
watched.
say your brother. I was
Oh
like, no.
yeah, we also brought my brother to watch a Super. Make sure we're doing it right. No.
Ew.
No, we played 8 Mile.
Of course you
going
did,
on?
Nikki.
And
Aw.
it still didn't feel like it was gonna go in, and like to the point where I was crying. We gave up. Like,
Damn.
yeah,
How do you keep it hard that whole time?
I don't know. I mean, he was a teenager, so
True.
hormones.
That's
but then he started joking, like, "No, it's okay, it's okay," because I was crying, I was sad, I felt like I disappointed him, and he was like, "No, it's okay. Ooh, this feels so good. Ooh, look at it, it's so good." Like he was just joking. It was
Yeah.
super cute. But that actually relaxed me enough that it did start to go in,
Oh.
and then it was like, oh, not only does it like. Is it going in, but it's starting to not hurt anymore. And then we did it. We lost our virginities to each other,
Aw.
and it burned like fuck after.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's like
It was
getting
like-
road rash for the first
Yeah.
all up in your vagina.
inside your
Road
body.
rash.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so that was my story.
Damn, 3 times.
3 times. But I'm glad it happened on the last one and not like on the side of the mountain road one.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because at least you got
In
to
the
lose
car,
it to
yeah.
Eminem's 8 Mile.
Yeah, it was the perfect scenario with champagne and a bed
Right.
and my favorite Chinese food.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Chinese food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
My favorite Chinese food, Ming Dynasty. Shout out, Goleta, California. If you're ever in town.
Bleep that out. They didn't sponsor this.
I don't even know if they're still around, but we used to go on every 1 month anniversary. We would go to Ming Dynasty.
Aw,
And so it was kind of like
your
our
tradition.
year anniversary, losing the virginity plus Ming Dynasty.
Wow.
You know what else I live for? Shoes.
ShoeDazzle.
Shoes.
ShoeDazzle is going to help us get the hot popular guy in school.
Oh, yeah, because that's who you want.
No, I'm just
Still
kidding.
to
It's going to
this
help
day.
you own yourself.
ShoeDazzle is the first monthly fashion service to bring a personalized boutique experience to us. After taking a super quick 60-second style quiz, you'll receive a personalized showroom of pieces specifically catered towards your own unique style. So whether you're the preppy girl or the punk rock girl, you'll probably find something on ShoeDazzle. So they release brand new styles, collections, and prints every month, and you can save 30 to 50% when you become a VIP. VIPs can get free shipping on orders over $39 and have access to member-only sales. And there is no commitment to order as a VIP.
That's right. So you can get your first ShoeDazzle style for as low as $10. That's 75% off your first item with our special link, which is ShoeDazzle.com/BTCH. And so you can take advantage of this deal right now. That is ShoeDazzle.com/BTCH to get your first style for as low as $10. That's ShoeDazzle.com/BTCH. And please make sure to enter your email address once you take your style quiz, because then you'll receive monthly exclusive discounts and the inside scoop about new collections that haven't been released yet. Again, ShoeDazzle.com/BTCH.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get you some shoes, girl.
Yeah.
Cover them feet. Stop walking around barefoot. Sorry, I should have
alright.
opened it with that.
Oh, that's so
Tiff,
cool.
what about
Me?
you?
My
Yes.
story. I was also 16.
Hell yeah.
And so apparently, I mean, this guy was also a virgin, and we were just like, man, I had already reached the point where, I mean, I'm Mexican girl, and I was going to like a high school where there was a majority of us. And so a lot of us are very sexually active at a very young age. So me being 16, it's like, girl, you're old. What's happening?
Yeah, I
So-
was going to say that
yeah.
seems kind of, I lost mine way before you, but go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So then this guy too, he had also been a virgin. So I don't know, like once we got to know each other, like I remember meeting him and I was like, oh my gosh, I have like such a huge crush on this guy. And he was kind of a jerk to me, where he was just kind of like, whatever. Like, okay, yeah, let's hang out. And I was like, all right. But anyway, so then we were talking for a while, and this also, by the way, this kid, he was like a rich kid, and like there were no rich kids at my school, but like he would drive an M3 and shit, like a Beamer, and he lived like at this really, really nice mansion in North Downey, which is where like the rich Mexican people live, and then also like the white people that lived like that kind of got pushed down. That's where they used to live, and so yeah, so it was just a whole bunch of
Got
like,
pushed down.
Yeah, they got pushed away.
The white people that got
So
pushed
it's like
down
the old,
there
the old
too.
white people mansions. Now the Mexicans
Right.
moved in, and they're the rich
They took
people of
over.
that neighborhood. Okay, I see. The white flight happened. Sorry, guys.
Exactly, white flight.
Sorry.
That was the area. Anyway, so then one night I was just like, listen, man, it has to happen, and it's gonna be you, because you're pretty hot.
So you
She
were
said it's gonna be you.
It's gonna be you. This is gonna happen, because I'm tired of being a virgin. And it was really like this disease I want to get rid of. Like,
like
yeah.
in Euphoria.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when she's like
exactly.
a virgin and she just like wants to get rid of it.
Exactly. That's exactly. I totally related to her in that show. So then we ended up planning this thing where, and before we actually lost our virginities to each other, we had gone on a few dates, and like we'd gone down on each other, and like he'd finger me and stuff, and I'd give him a hand job. So we'd done all that foreplay stuff already. So then this night it was so I had snuck out of my house, and he snuck me into his house, aka a really nice mansion. And so like anyway, I was in his room, and we kind of started trying to do things, and I don't know why I thought this would be a good idea, but I was like, maybe if I'm on top it'll hurt less.
Oh.
Bad idea.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Don't do that if
Gravity
you're a
pushing
virgin.
on that.
Don't do that. It was so painful that I was like, oh my God. And it was just like trying to like lower myself. It was a bad
It's
thing.
like the weight of your body's working against you in that
Exactly.
situation.
It was
Forcing
not
it
a
in.
good idea. So, but anyway, so then we ended up doing it, and then it was super painful. And then like, you know, he was wearing condoms. So then afterwards, like he went to the bathroom, he flushed in because he was paranoid I was gonna steal his. He was fucking weird.
my
We weren't even
gosh.
boyfriend and girlfriend,
Steal your
by the way.
his sperm?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I can't be having this
Right.
this girl
And I'm like,
have a baby with
you're
my
not
sperm.
even
He's
that.
not an NFL star. No one's after his sperm.
Yeah, locking
Right.
it down.
And then it's kind of sad. Like, okay, this kind of gets sad. But later on, like years later, I found out he did end up having a kid, and the mom left him with the kid. So he's like a single dad.
Oh, shit.
That was, yeah, that's kind of sad. But anyway,
That is
so then, but yeah, so then that happened, and I was at his house for like 5 hours. Like it took an eternity for us to get the shit going. But then afterwards, he ended up just like sneaking me out and then drove me back home. And then the next day, he was like, "Were you even a virgin?" And I was like, "Yes, you fucking asshole. What the fuck? Like, weren't you there the whole time? It was painful. What the fuck?" And he was like, "Well, you didn't bleed." And I was like, what
my
the
God.
fuck? He was such
Fuck.
an asshole. So I was just like, whatever, man. And then I don't know why, but I still ended up talking and hanging out with this guy even after that. And then he let me borrow his phone for something. And I remember looking at a photo, and there was this picture of white sheets with like a tiny red stain. And I was like, what is this? And he's like, that's your blood. So I guess you were telling the truth. You were a virgin. I'm like, then why'd you even say that?
Say that you didn't
It was
bleed?
so
Why does
weird.
that matter?
Is this
Yeah,
did
exactly.
you have sex with T.I.?
Yeah, what a psycho! Like where
Yeah.
he takes a picture of the blood stain. Like,
Exactly. I was like,
have her blood
what a
stain
weirdo.
on the
God.
picture.
Yeah, he
He
was
like jacks
weird.
off to that blood stain.
Why have you been with every single guy you've been with has been strange as hell, Tiff?
Well, I mean, I'm married. So I feel like I need to defend him.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about Casey.
I'm like, well,
There's some kinks in there.
yeah, man, you guys are making me sweat. I'm
Oh
gonna need-
my
I'm
God,
gonna
are
need
you
some.
sweaty?
Yeah.
I think we should put a little bit of native on
Yes,
your top
girl.
lip,
Oh.
Tiff.
Hmm.
Guys, Native is a fantastic brand of deodorant that I actually keep one in my desk, I keep one at home, and I keep one in my brand new car.
She really does have a brand new car.
Yeah, she does, and also in your cooch.
I
Just
actually
kidding.
do. It happened to be right here. We have my favorite, which is the coconut and vanilla. They have a lot of other scents as well. This is my personal favorite. It smells like a cocoa butter baby. But most importantly, I don't know if anyone else has like problems with perspiration that I did for years and years and years. I always use any kind of clinical strength deodorant. Well, I started using Native because we're working with them,
Yeah.
and I had all these Native deodorants. I kept one on my desk. I had one at home, and sometimes I would get worried when I got to work. I was like, oh, I'm not using the clinical strength, but I would never sweat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Literally all day. I am a person that has needed clinical strength deodorant their entire life, and I use Native, never sweat. Seriously, it works. People love Native. If you go online, you'll see that they have over 8,000 five-star reviews. Y'all
Wow.
know, when you see a good review, I'm like, all right, this sounds good. There's simple ingredients, and there's something for everyone as far as the scents. There's lavender rose, cucumber and mint, eucalyptus, and man, the eucalyptus.
I like the
is-
cucumber one.
Smell like a spa. Smell real good. As well as a few limited edition seasonal scents. Please give me a candy cane scent.
Oh, that would be
sounds-
great.
Dude,
A
Ooh.
candy cane scent.
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
cute.
Yeah.
Kinda does. Oh, it is. It is peppermint. If you guys want to try Native, for your first 20% off of your purchase, get a couple. You're getting 20% off of the whole
Yeah.
load, y'all. Go
Nice.
to nativedeodorant.com and use the promo code BTCH20 during checkout. Once again, for 20% off your first purchase, visit nativedeodorant.com and use the promo code BTCH20. Support us, get your
Yeah.
discount, and stop sweating, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really sweaty that night too.
Yeah, my first boyfriend, he was a sweater too. I thought that all people did that, but then I was like, oh, non-sweaty sex is different. Interesting.
Non-sweaty sex
Yeah.
is better than disgustingly sweaty
Yeah,
sex.
it's all. I
Yeah.
think it's the guys that have a lot of hair.
Yes,
too,
it's
that-
the hair.
that
The
Oh,
hair
they
gets
sweat
really
more.
sweaty.
It's
That's a
very.
good-
It's like having a winter coat all the time.
I'm not into it. Bose, do you want to tell us about your
Yeah.
first time having a penis inside of your vagina?
I actually don't want to be a downer. So
Oh no!
I want to talk about what I wish I had done.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because even so now, I'm sexually open. Like, I talk to you guys all the time about, my personal life. And my losing my virginity experience was, God, what a waste. What a waste.
For a lot of women, I think it's really
It kind of
ends up being
quite disappointing.
Yeah, I mean,
and maybe it's better that you kind of lower your expectations too if you are a virgin, because then I do hear like once like you have really high expectations for losing your virginity and it doesn't meet it, it's kind of like that Paris syndrome. Like you hear about when people end up going to Paris and then they end up getting very severely depressed because it's not as good as they thought it was. It's like maybe just don't expect like perfect experience.
Well, I think that it's actually for me, and I don't know about other people, it was actually a very emotional experience. I felt a lot of regret afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And not even because of like my Christian guilt, but because of who I shared that moment with. And that person was really nobody. Really nobody.
So you didn't have feelings or anything?
I did. That
Oh.
person didn't have feelings for me.
Same girl.
I almost feel like they stole my virginity from me through like manipulation. You know?
I think a lot of people can relate to that
Yeah.
though,
Yeah,
because
girl, right here.
that's exactly that
Right
story. I feel like happens to, and when you go through that, I think you had that expectation because you heard about people that lost it like so romantically, and you wait till marriage and someone that you really love, or something like that, and then it's like, oh fuck, that was it. Like I wasted mine, and I think that's common. So it's really good that you're sharing that.
And I mean, like, and the regret didn't come from like, and you guys know I've shared a lot of times. I grew up in a very, very strict Christian household, and I think a part of me when I was younger, I like when I was a teenager, so I was like very rebellious. When you're like 16, you're like fuck the world.
Yeah.
I think part of me was rebelling against Christianity, so I didn't value it as much. I'm not saying like, oh, value your purity or something. I'm saying value this thing for yourself. If you're a person like me that's very sensitive and emotional, that is a special moment.
Right.
And I would like, even the first guy that I dated, like piece of shit, I kind of at least wish it was with somebody that cared about me,
Yeah,
True.
I get that. for sure.
So like, I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it, but it's gone, it's past. Like it's kind of whatever, and you keep it going. But
do you still have any regrets or like feel like, oh, I wish I could take that moment back, or is it kind of like that was a learning experience?
I don't know. It's really interesting because I feel like Christianity aside, like Christianity tells you that this is supposed to be this pure thing, this thing that you hold on to, but I think that they tell you that for reasons other than why you really should.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't even know what that is because I never got to share that experience with somebody special.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it could have been like. That could have morphed my perception of sex for the rest of my life.
That's true.
But unfortunately, I shared that moment with somebody where there was no pleasure, there was no emotional connection. Even though I really liked this person, they didn't really like me. They had just like almost manipulated me into like, oh yeah, I really like you, like we could totally date, like I'll blah blah. And they like afterwards spread a bunch of rumors about me.
Oh no.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really bad, and I had to change high schools.
Like sexual
man.
rumors?
Mhm.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the worst possible
Damn.
scenario.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
for a young girl.
Yeah, so
That's
I mean,
traumatizing.
it definitely was. So I ended up switching schools after that, and I think not only do I wish that it was like somebody other than that person, I just wish that I had maybe shared that moment with somebody that cared about me.
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes when you're a young girl and just looking for love, you don't see that. And when you don't value that thing, and when you think, oh, only Christianity is telling me this, I'm gonna rebel, like you're just like, this is trash, this doesn't mean anything. But it does mean something.
I mean, as a
Right.
human, it's still a valuable like first time
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe that your first time experience with sex can change your perception for the rest of your
True.
life on it.
Yeah.
And that might also be why, when I grew up, I didn't enjoy sex. I didn't
Yeah.
orgasm for a long time. It really kind of screwed me up. I
That's
was
true.
like, this is a complete waste because my first time was treated like nothing.
I wonder, like, how we have therapy. Like, we discussed that we've both done therapy on, like, going back and kind of hugging and, like, being there for our child self, like our 6-year-old self. I wonder if there's some sort of, like, thing you could
True.
do maybe with someone you do love if you're in a relationship with them to, like, kind of redo that first sexual experience.
At first I was like, that's mad whack. But then I'm like, wait a minute. I think, like, emotionally, like
Yeah, it would be
wonder-
healing.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so. But yeah, it definitely warped my perception of sex, because this person taught me that my body and my virginity and, you know, any of that was not valuable. It didn't mean anything, like, you know, and that said something about myself. And when you're, you know, 16 and you're still figuring yourself out and you don't know who you are, you kind of just take hints from what the world throws at you.
Right.
And when the world throws at you that your body is not important, then you're like, oh, I guess that meant nothing to them. And you know, it's a really emotional thing. I still remember, like, after that happened, I ran away from home for 2 days. So like, I think it definitely really, really, really screwed me up.
Oh,
Damn.
like I'm so heartbroken for 16-year-old Bose.
I know.
I feel so bad for her right now. I mean, my I guess to change the topic, I
The
had
tone.
the tone here.
She's like, mine was bomb.
Just like it was 2 cops on the subway in New York City.
I'm not good at hosting. I don't have a great transition from that. I'm so sorry. I value your experience.
I thought you were gonna say my virginity.
No,
I was like, thanks, it's gone.
I value your body.
Oh, I value your body. I value you. As,
Oh my god!
Correct.
Okay.
So anyway, you guys know who I lost my virginity to, because in the group chat a while back, I sent you guys a picture.
yeah.
We've seen his face.
So I didn't know this, but now I went back on Facebook, and for some reason I just started looking up all the guys that I've dated before in my life. And so the guy I lost my virginity to was my very first boyfriend in high school. So we dated like almost immediately, starting freshman year all the way through maybe sophomore year too. I think it was like a year and some change or something like that. But so I was a cheerleader freshman year. And there was all of the cheerleaders were like, most of them were freshmen on the team that I was on. And then a whole group of us were all dating the junior basketball stars of the team. So it was like all the freshman
JV
girls.
basketball stars.
No, they were the varsity.
Okay.
But they were juniors, but they were on the
On
varsity
varsity.
team.
Okay.
There was seniors on varsity too, obviously, but these were all the junior on varsity. So it's kind of funny because like me and my friends were all dating like the same guys and their friends from the team. Such a total like high school movie.
It
But then
is.
it kind of got recreated later where we're all working at a company
True.
where the girls
Very
and the guys
true.
are all
My life is cyclical.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we dated for a whole year, and we would like everyone in school knew us like as the makeout couple because everywhere we went, we would be making out for hours and hours and hours.
It's
and
an
we had-
accurate title for you guys.
Right. we had this one friend, and he would drive us around everywhere. Like he was like the one guy that had a car that we would hang out with, and we would be in the back seat. And, like he was our taxi driver, and we would just be making out for hours and hours and hours, going to every party, making out everywhere. So we were together for a whole year, and then finally, summer before my sophomore year, we decided it was time. So I was actually still 14.
Oh, wow.
So I guess maybe I was young in school because I didn't turn
Jesus.
I didn't turn 15 until the summer before sophomore year started.
Yeah.
So I was
That's how it was too.
I was just a few weeks from being 15 years old, but technically I was still 14. So I lost my virginity at 14. But it was actually pretty cool because I felt like I loved him and I felt like he loved me, but things were kind of starting to wrap up because he was going into his senior year and I felt like less important. Like he was already kind of mentally checking out now versus when we first started dating, he was still kind of mentally in high school because he had just started his junior year. So I think a part of me did it too because I was like, oh, I think he's kind of pulling away now because he's going to be a senior and he's going to be leaving and he's going to be leaving me. So there was a little bit of insecurity there for why I did that. But overall, I feel like we both still loved each other. But the actual experience now, it was very sad. I think he put it in like a couple times. It hurt so bad. And then he just got up and went to the bathroom. So this whole thing was like 10 seconds.
Whoa.
He
Oh
stuck
my
it in
gosh.
and then he went into the bathroom. I have no idea if he came or not. He was in the bathroom for a solid like 15 minutes.
No way.
While I was still sitting there with my raw vagina that just got like ripped apart.
Ouch.
Just for 15 minutes, just sitting in his room, like, is he coming back? Like, are we still gonna do it? Like, what's happening?
Maybe he got the shits in the middle of it. And he was like, oh shit, this is the wrong time to get this.
I don't know, but he was huge. He was like one of the biggest guys I've ever been with.
Jesus.
So to lose my virginity to that
Yeah.
was already difficult. But it sucked because like because he left me there the whole time, like while he was in the bathroom, and I was like, what is he doing? And I was like, is he jacking off? Or like maybe he came already and then he was trying to get it back up, but like not in front of me. I couldn't figure out what was happening. But then eventually he just came out like 20 minutes later while I was still laying there, you know, like awkward as hell. And he's just like, do you want to go to the corner store and get a soda? And I was like, okay. So we just like started driving around and like hanging out and doing other stuff, pretending like that didn't happen.
Wow.
So it was
That
really
sucks.
sad.
Did you guys ever have sex after that?
I think maybe a couple of times, but it kind of ended sort of after that. But I remember I didn't have sex for like a whole year after that because I was no longer in a relationship. But then I lost my virginity I had sex a couple of times. It was so bad. Like there was nothing good. And then I didn't have sex again for a whole year or maybe almost 2 years. Like I remember I just like lost it and then did nothing for
Dude,
such
that was
a long
me too.
time.
Because like that guy, like he wasn't technically my boyfriend, but then right after we had lost our virginity to each other, I asked him because I really liked this guy, and so I asked him, I'm like, hey, do you want to be like boyfriend and girlfriend now? And then he was like, wait, so he's like, you slept with me so you can trick me into being your boyfriend? It's like the opposite.
Oh my god!
Like, this is the same
literally-
guy that thought you stole his
Yes,
sperm.
exactly. He's fucking. He was
His ego
not.
is like,
all these guys have
they're
their
trying to
fucking
get
Right.
manipulations.
No,
Dude.
but
Oh my
usually
God.
it's the other way around. Like usually
Yeah.
it's like, oh, the guy gets with the girl to get her, like so
To
he
trap
could,
her,
exactly.
yeah.
But I'm like, no. So then we had only had sex at only one time.
Yeah.
And then after that, I met someone else, and like I really liked this other guy. He actually liked me back, and he treated me right. And then I guess this first guy, he had hit me up, and he was like really drunk one night, and he was like, I fucked up. I really wanted to be with you. I was like too scared to want to be with you or something. And then he's like, do you want to be my girlfriend now? And I'm like, nah, dude, I already moved on. I moved on.
Guys are so dumb.
Yeah,
I
and
can't
like,
deal.
dude,
It's a
learning curve for sure.
Yeah.
So I feel like I had the shittiest guys. I had this one guy so he lived down the street from me, and literally 2 blocks over. And I kind of liked him for a while. Like he was tall, he was like really into metal. Like I thought he was pretty hot. He had a lot of friends. Like he was popular, all this shit. And he lived down the street from me, and we would hang out a lot with his friends. And then there was one day where like he was trying to fuck me, and I think we were maybe like 19 or 20.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, we've kind of been talking, but like because of my previous experience, I was like, I'm not in a relationship
Not
with you.
interested.
I was like, no, I'm not gonna fuck you. And he was like, but I want you to be my girlfriend. And I was like, oh, you want me to be your girlfriend?
Hook, line, and sinker. He got it.
Hook, line, and sinker. And so we ended up hooking up. We didn't go all the way, but we ended up hooking up. And I was just like, okay, now you're my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like straight up. Like we had been talking for like 3 or 4 months. And so like I thought it was a little fast, but I liked him. I was down, and I was like, whatever. So I was like, okay, I guess we're dating now or whatever. So later on that day, I go home, and he was like, oh, come back over tonight for dinner. He was like, oh, my dad's out of town. Like, we'll make dinner, blah, blah, blah. And like, he was a smoker. So I remember I had gone to the gas station, and I picked him up a pack of cigarettes before I came over. And like, I called him because I was about to come over, and he never answered. And then I called, and like, we didn't like fuck, but we like hooked up, you know?
Yeah.
And like, then I called him again, no answer. Like 2.5 hours later, like I shot him a text, no answer. Completely went cold on me. And so I'm like, I am
What?
so glad I didn't fuck that dude.
Oh,
And so
man.
then, like, and I mentioned this in the cheating episode, this is the same guy who had the photo of his wife and his child in the picture that like messaged me 10 years later on
that guy.
Facebook and was Ew. like, damn, I should have had you when I had the chance or
Ew,
something.
what an
So,
asshole.
Like, so fucking gross. And like, these dudes are out there, and they will manipulate you, or at least try to, into having sex with them. Like, I feel like I just got the dirtiest Yeah, guys. Did you guys you not
did.
have any of these motherfuckers? I had one,
Yeah.
but you know what? It would break bad habits.
What?
Is
What, Nikki Limo?
an
Break that
app called Noom.
Tell us about Noom.
And well, so a lot of people, Noom is a fitness app for first of all, so it's like going to help you not only focus on like the focus isn't about losing weight or even like getting muscle mass or whatever. It's more about breaking habits, bad habits that you have formed. And so I like Noom because they guide you through not only a physical goal like better self-care, confidence in clothing, more energy, overall glow, but also the psychological stuff like making healthy choices, like having self-worth, having like better mood stuff, controlling anxiety and stress. And then one thing I didn't take into account on why I may not have been hitting my goals are the social aspects of feeling like you need to, like a drink to blend in, or like needing to eat something or have something that's keeping you busy because maybe you have social anxiety. I did. So Noom really helped to like learn to resist temptations when you go out and be comfortable in social environments and trust in your ability to make good choices. So all of those things happen through their courses where they like you sign up, they ask you what your personal goals are, and then they kind of give you a lesson with each day, like something to take with you on your day to keep in mind, so that when you're thinking of making an unhealthy choice, you're already psychologically in this zone of like, no, I'm not going to make that choice today.
How do I get this app?
So you don't have to change it all in one day. Small steps take big progress. So sign up for your trial today at Noom, sign up today at Noom, NOOM.com/BTCH. And you can, you get a free trial. Visit Noom.com/BTCH to start your trial today. That's Noom.com/BTCH. The last weight loss program you'll ever need.
Try it.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. They got 10 minutes a day exercise programs too, which is really convenient to your schedule.
Yeah.
Nice.
Throw that in there.
But you were talking about a guy.
Yes. So my first boyfriend that I lost my virginity to, really sweet story, right? Like we were dating for a year, which is kind of like you're like married in high school if you're together for a year.
That's a long time.
And I was a year older, so it wasn't like the thing that you had where he checked out. It was like, oh, like we're in this together. So I went from that with a guy that like really cared about me and that I thought I was going to be together with for a long time. We ended up breaking up because of other issues, drug related issues. But like that was more like sad. Then I went straight to like at that point. So I had now entered the rest of my junior year. It was like second half of junior year. And I got my braces off. You know, I started like losing weight. I was really overweight throughout the first half of high school. And guys didn't really pay attention to me before, but now all of a sudden I was single and I looked way different. And this popular guy was like hitting on me and I didn't even know he was hitting on me at all. Like people had to tell me like, oh, he's hitting you. I was like, and then I got really nervous because I was like, well, I'm in a different class of human because you're over here in the popular group. And I was like punk rock emo, like over here, we're very like, fuck you popular people. But then this guy was paying attention to me and I thought he was really cute. He reminded me of Topher Grace, who I really liked from that 70s show at that time.
Oh yeah.
And so I kind of just like projected all that and the fact that someone in this class was paying attention to me and he was kind of funny and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. So we started like, he started asking me to hang out with him and I would just go to his house and we would watch TV in his room and make out. And it was like, ooh, oh my God, like I can't believe this happened so fast. Because before it was just a crush to get over my ex. And then it evolved into that. And then I finally asked him after like a month of doing this, I was like, are we like boyfriend and girlfriend? And I was like, I don't know how popular people do it. Because in my head, they do it a way different way than me. So he's like, yeah. And so I was like, it worked. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God. And then we had sex because I was like, we're boyfriend and girlfriend.
You're like, let's try this again.
And so then we started having sex and I like after the third time he started getting more distant, like stopped asking me to come over, stopped asking me to like hang out. I could barely get a hold of him. He would never answer his phone. Before we were texting all the time and stuff. And then he broke up with me through his friend because I had to ask his best friend like, what's up? Like I haven't been able to talk to this guy in over a week and we're supposed to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And the guy was like, yeah, I didn't want to do this, and he pulls out a list and lists off all of the things wrong with me.
No.
Wait, the friend had the list?
The friend had a list of
my
all the things. So he said like I had a hairy upper lip.
Two idiots
like,
here?
It was everything. Like things that like
I thought
didn't
you were
even
gonna. I
think
thought you were gonna like say something like Michelle like
No.
doesn't know what she wants
No,
or
bro.
something.
No,
way.
it was like
The most
she's
superficial
weird
shit.
because I was really nervous around him because I wasn't sure if the things that I thought were funny or like the same things that popular people think are funny. You know, it was like I felt
A lot of
very
self-doubt.
not in my my class. So I was just very like nervous around him. And so he was like, yeah, she's fucking weird. She always makes these weird jokes and stuff. And I got like really in my head. And the one thing that really stuck out was he said I wasn't girly enough because I was like punk rock, right?
Yeah.
So like, but why would you start?
Bitch, didn't he know?
Yeah, he did.
Did he have his eyes open the whole time? Like, I think I like
exactly.
her.
I know.
I'm like, why did you even do that? Why did you even hook up with me then? But he was like, he just really liked the like girly girls, and his ex was like a cheerleader girl.
Yeah.
And he liked like how she did her makeup and wore perfume and like wore high heels and like all that stuff. Instead of being like, oh, fuck that guy, this is who I am, it got me so in my head where I was scared to talk to people. I was scared to like interact. I wanted to be all the things that he broke up with me for.
Yeah.
So I started reading all the Cosmopolitan magazines. I started like, is this what girls are into? Like, what do they do? Like, they do their nails. Okay, I could try to paint my nails. Okay. And then I was like using the perfume samples. I'm like, does this smell good? Is this what a popular person would smell like?
teenage.
It went really far. And
Damn.
it made me hate myself. I hated who I was. I hated that like I wasn't cool. Like I wasn't like
This motherfucker made a list.
oh yeah.
What the fuck? And the idiot friend actually read it to her.
Yeah, well, I think he actually kind of had a crush on me, but that I figured out
okay.
later. But
Damn.
and it couldn't happen because we had already dated. I had already dated his best
Oh,
friend.
so that's why he did it.
But-
I was just because I was
Damn.
really trying to figure out, like, even as a teenager, what was the intent?
Oh, so he
sir?
just wanted to fuck me. So I was like, why would he get with me? And so it was like he just wanted to fuck me because I had a bubble butt and like he
All
wanted
the other popular
wanted to
girls
fuck me
had
from
flat
behind.
butts or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he broke up with me 2 weeks before prom
Oh.
and then
Damn.
took his ex-girlfriend to prom.
No way.
And I went on this mission to like show up hot to prom.
Yeah.
Whatever. And whatever, it worked, but then I just downed 2 pizzas after and like went home sad crying. But yeah, like it was actually, blessing in disguise because that ended up being like the first couple of stand-up bits that I wrote later in my life after I had gone through and come out the other end and been like, fuck that guy. I started writing stand-up, and that was like an outlet for me.
Yeah.
So all things happen for a reason.
Mhm.
But
Right.
shitbag guys, Bose, I feel you.
Dude,
Damn.
so bad. I'm gonna say this right now because I feel like it doesn't get said enough. If you are under 18, and you should be 18 to watch the show, but if I don't know, maybe you have a friend that's not. Look, they need to say this more. If you're dating somebody when you're like still in high school, that is not your husband. That is a lesson.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
That's true.
Do not make it more than it is. That is a lesson. Point blank. Move
Right.
on.
Well, people like Steve, where his parents got married, like they were their firsts, and then they got married. Like he grew up thinking that,
Yeah.
right. And he wanted a wife since he was in like junior
Aw.
high.
So he's like
That's
my
so
brother.
cute.
My brother's name is Steven also, and he married his high
Stevens,
school
man.
sweetheart,
Oh.
and they're still married. He's like
That's
in
so
his
cute.
mid-20s now.
He's the 5% though.
Yeah.
It's a very
He's the
Very
5%.
percentage.
But I feel like even when we were younger, they sold that to us
Yeah.
as very cute, and it was packaged really nicely, and we wanted to believe it. And it's just really not. It's really just not true for the most part, you know.
Yeah. It's
you
hard.
don't know who you are yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you know what I told you guys about some of the shitty guys. It's really not even the tip of the iceberg. I didn't even dip into like how awful it was, but you know what? And I'm not saying I blame the younger version of myself, but something that I've learned is that I was so insecure. Even at 15, it like radiated off of me that I hated myself, that I was in pain, that I didn't know who I was. And people pick up on that.
Mhm.
They absolutely pick up on that. And so sometimes you feel when you're growing up as though they don't like me, but it's not that they don't like you. Maybe people don't like this shell that you've encased yourself in of insecurity that you don't even realize that you're showing off. It's just your defense mechanism. And I'm so sure that these guys could tell from me that I was insecure and depressed, and nobody wants to date that girl.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, it is very much a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so, I also would really like say strongly for anybody, if you are interested in a guy and suddenly it doesn't work out and you really feel like you're the problem, like it may not be you, who you really are. It may be this image of yourself that you're putting out, whether it's intentional or on purpose. It could be the image you're putting out is clearly false. You know it is, and you don't realize that they pick up on it. And it could also be that the image you're putting out is insecure, because nobody, unfortunately, is attracted to an insecure person unless they're planning to prey on you.
Yeah.
Right. And
Sure.
there's that old saying that's like, people treat you how you treat yourself. So
Yes, exactly.
if you already think low of yourself, people subconsciously pick that up.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
I definitely had an experience. I don't want to say it's quite like Nikki's, but sort of. So
There was no list involved?
there was no list involved. I wasn't
He said
actually
it to my face.
I wasn't actually dating this guy, but like, so the second guy I had sex with in high school, so he was a part of the same group of guys that was like the junior group that we were dating when we were freshmen. But now I'm going into my sophomore year. I think they were seniors now. And this was the more popular guy. This was like homecoming king, like everyone's like the
shit.
probably top 3 guys of the school, right? And so I started like sleeping with him on the side because I after I'd lost my virginity to my first boyfriend who I was with for a year, and then I was like, nothing was going on for a year. So towards the end of the sophomore year now, I bagged like one of the most popular guys in school. And I honestly didn't realize that I was doing it because of insecurity, but I think I was. And I just felt like, oh, look, I'm rising the ranks now. Look at me now. But he was kind of using me too, like, because he was kind of publicly starting to like date other girls that were prettier than me, had more money than me and all of that. But then he would be the one to call me after the house parties. And I thought, oh, we have something like secret and special. But it's really like I was the less popular, the poor one that so happened to kind of weasel her way into the popular crowd.
You felt like
a
the
little
after
bit.
party.
Yeah, so I was just like the secret, and I enjoyed it for a little while. But then after a while, my ex, so the boyfriend that I had in my freshman year, he was like, do you not realize what he's doing? Like, he's like kind of courting these like pretty blonde, like perfect big titty girls like in front of the school, but like he's hiding you in the back and like having sex with you, like instead of, with the pretty girls who aren't willing to put out. And I was just like, holy shit.
Wow, that was a nice ex-boyfriend.
I mean, yeah. So like it was definitely a learning experience, like, because I thought that I was like, oh, I'm so cool. Look at me. Like, I bagged this guy and it's our secret. But then after what I thought about it, I'm like, I was just being kind of used, and like it wasn't good.
Yeah, and it's hard to see that from like an outsider's perspective when
Yeah.
you're in it, because you're like, you want to feel special. You want to believe what you
Yeah.
want to believe. You want to believe that he's like into you and like, ooh, you're something special, baby.
Yeah.
But
I was the one that was willing to put out because I'd already lost my virginity, and a lot of the other like super preppy, like pretty, like rich girls, like they weren't putting out yet. You know what I mean? So like
They were
he
prudes.
wanted to be like with like starting to date them in public, but getting laid on the side with the brown haired like bad
Slumming
girl.
it.
Yeah,
feel
slumming
like
it with
there's-
the poor girl.
I feel like there's something about like when you're kind of the secret, I think that there's some kind of appeal that you're like, oh, at the end of this, I might get him.
Yeah,
It
doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
That worked
it
for
really
me.
doesn't work.
it was kind of like that with the popular guy too,
Yeah.
because we were even in classes together and we wouldn't hang out during class.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I couldn't just go up to him and hold his hand.
Mhm.
Like,
But if you guys were in class together, he could like completely ignore you. But at one point, he might look at you and
Yep.
smile, and you'd be like, "I got him."
Yeah.
But
no one else
it
gets
was-
to know
yeah,
about it.
it
No
was
one else knows we're
just-
dating.
Like he could like send you a text and be like, "You look really cute today," and like it just fills your heart, but you don't.
Because you live for the crumbs. You're like, they
yeah.
ignore me so much that when they
Yeah.
send that little crumb, you're like, oh, he likes me.
No, so we're talking about virginity, right? I remembered an experience I had right before I actually did lose my virginity.
Oh, let's hear it.
And so, okay, I was a pretty bad girl in high school. I would ditch a lot, and we'd go to like these ditch parties, right?
Ditch parties.
Yeah.
like was this
We
like
had
at
ditch
10
parties.
a.m. in the morning? You're like
It
partying?
literally was.
Okay.
We were drinking that early. Like
Wow,
it
you were
was,
drinking?
yeah.
Holy
I'm telling you,
shit.
I was bad. I was real bad.
Bad
But so anyway, so then so at one of these ditch parties, all my girlfriends and we all went to this guy's house, and this guy, he was slightly older, but he lived like with his parents or whatever, but they weren't there. And so he had his guy friends come over, and the oldest guy in the room, what was his, whatever, I'm not gonna say his name, but anyway, like they all had nicknames and stuff. So this dude, he was like trying to court me and stuff, and by then I was already pretty damn drunk. And listen, I have a lot of these very bad, like, don't get drunk in public and take care of yourselves story. I have a lot of these, but this one though in particular, this dude, we started making out in the bedroom, and it was so ridiculous because this guy, the guy's house, he had like a twin size bed, and I think that was like his parents' bed, but in the same room there was a bunk bed. There was a bunk bed.
Okay.
So it was like 3 beds in one room.
Oh, weird.
It was really weird. And so me and the oldest guy in the room, we were in like the twin size bed, and then my friend was in one of the bunk beds, and then the other friend was on top of the bunk bed. So there's literally 3 couples making out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in the same room. And
Scandalous.
we're all hella drunk. And at one point, and by the way, I was on my period and I had a tampon in. And at one point, this dude was like, hey, so like, do you want to like, and I was just like, I'm a virgin. No. Like, I don't know. I literally met this dude that same day. And then so and he was just like, no, come on, like let's just, like just the tip, blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, I have a tampon in. Like, there's no way no. But I was really inebriated. This motherfucker just took advantage a lot, and so he actually did try to stick his tip in,
Like
with my tampon in.
Oh my God. Did you know that it was there?
No, he literally felt it. He was like, oh yeah, you weren't lying. Oh, let's see if it goes in. And I'm like,
Ew.
but dude, I was so drunk, and I was like 15, 16. Yeah. And this dude was like, he was
horny.
No, I'm saying.
Wait, did he stick it in?
I'm saying like he was like 20 or some shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That seems to be like a common thread, maybe in like Mexican culture.
It really is.
Yeah.
So like at least for as far as I know, in Mexican culture, young girls really find it attractive to look up to like you big guy, like older guys, and like these older guys tend to get really young girls. Like that's just the norm.
Yeah.
A
Like
cultural
14,
norm.
15, 16
norm.
with like 23, 24. 20,
Yeah.
And
so,
to me, it's not too far. Like I can get how that could culturally be acceptable. I know it's not great because at 16 you're way different than at 24. But
yeah.
I mean,
these guys, it's because these guys are so immature that they
are.
have to get younger girls. But anyway, so then this guy, he tries to do that, and then like I push him off because I was like, what the fuck? I said no. Like,
wait, so was his dick out and like trying to go in?
Yeah, so we were under the covers. That's what, like, we were making out under the covers, and like he literally, like, he just, I forgot what I was wearing, but like he somehow got up in there and put his like little tip.
Little Tip. His nickname was Little Tip.
Little tip. That's what his nickname
Wait, maybe
was.
that's your losing your virginity.
I don't think so.
If the tip fucking crosses that whole
It didn't.
threshold.
No. The whole tip didn't. Like the mushroom head did not go in. Like it was just like the tip of the tip.
The hole. The part where it goes divots in. So it was just 2 holes matching up.
But dude, like I said, I had a fucking tampon in. Like there's no way he's gonna go in. But like I don't know. Like that's what I think about that situation. I'm like, did that count? No, that didn't count.
But also gross.
Right?
Yeah.
What a gross guy.
Cancel.
Yeah. And I was like,
Sir?
I think we hung out like a couple more times after that, but like that was the only time that we were even kissing and shit, and I was just like, ugh. Why?
Yeah, I feel like I put myself in a lot of dangerous situations as a naive fucking
Oh, me
teenager.
too.
Like so much so where I'm like, I don't want to have kids because they're gonna probably do that.
yeah.
Oh my God, what
Yeah.
if they don't live? So I ditched school I was a good girl, but I started hanging with the wrong crowd. And we ditched school a couple times or at lunch, like I guess it wouldn't really be considered ditching because it would be lunchtime and then we try to make it back before lunch ended, but sometimes it would go into 5th period. But my friend
good girl
was dating.
ditch.
Yeah, it was a good girl ditch. My friend was the bad girl and she was dating this guy who lived like along the back end of the school. And his brother was this older dude who was like 25. And he would like smoke everyone out with his bong.
Yep.
By the way, that's the only time I ever did a bong hit and I got way too stoned and
It's way too much.
I cannot smoke marijuana.
That's a lot.
But since she would be making out with the brother, I was left with the older brother and I would like he was giving me lots of attention.
Yeah.
I was like sitting on his lap. And this was before I started dating my first boyfriend. So I was completely virgin, like didn't have any experience really with making out. Like I made out maybe twice before then. And so it became a regular thing where like they would make out and we would make out. And
Oh no, you got molested almost.
and then when he was trying to like do
Like,
more
how old
stuff,
was he?
He was 25.
Oh,
and,
shit.
Yeah, and I was 14.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
a decade older.
That's
Yeah,
sad.
but I didn't think of it that way either. It was just like, oh, I'm doing cool kid
Yeah.
stuff.
No, seriously,
I'm
I
such a
used to
kid
hang out
idiot.
with
So
so
dumb.
many people outside of high school while I was in high school. And
Yeah.
looking
Yeah,
back, I'm
and
like,
aren't
these
they
people are
creepy?
losers.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
I used to think they were so cool.
Yeah.
Great.
So I found out later he started like as years progressed. I stopped talking to that guy after I got a boyfriend. Like I splintered off from that group. I never really hung out with them again. But I found out later that he started dating this girl who was 15 at our school. Like they were like boyfriend, girlfriend, and some crazy shit went down where they would like do drugs together, and he would like hold a gun to her head while
Oh
he was
my
having
God.
sex
Oh,
with her,
scary.
like as part of their. She's like, no, it's like part of our like role play, but it was like a real gun.
Was it a loaded
Yikes.
gun?
I don't know. I didn't ask, and I was like, wow, I literally dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Because that's
Oh,
some
God.
crazy shit.
Damn. That's
Was he
scary.
like one of those people that like listens to ICP and smokes pot all day in like a
Jesus Christ.
in like a garage apartment?
Not ICP, but that's not too far off. It was
Yeah.
like underground hip hop, like
hip hop,
like
okay.
some like Sage Francis, some
Oh, I don't know
know.
any of that.
some like Atmosphere. Do you know Atmosphere?
Okay, yeah, I know.
Okay.
Atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man,
crazy.
These
That-
crazy
that- I
stories.
forgot about that until you brought that up with the older guy thing, because I was like,
Yeah.
oh fuck it, like that whole file opened up. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I remember all these times I did that. Wow, I
It's
can't
true.
trust teenager little me that's gonna come out.
Do you guys know what else I did for the first time in high school?
What did you do?
I mean,
Jen?
this, I guess, I
Suck dick?
still feel like I was a virgin even though I had lost my virginity. So everything that I did for like the first couple years was just so like, just kind of like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like for the first time in high school, I made out with two guys at the same time in a
Oh.
truck.
So
So
like
we were
your
at-
tongues all were like, oh my god.
So like outside of a house party, right? I think I might have been a junior at this point. So one of them had already graduated, but it was the guy that I was hooking up with, the popular guy, the one that was kind of using me a little bit. So
Yeah.
like he had already graduated high school, but so he was like I guess a senior in college, or sorry, freshman in college now. But he would come back for the house parties because a lot of the juniors and seniors would come back home like during breaks at college or whatever and house party with the people that were still in high school. So like we're all there. So I grab him and then we get into the truck of his friend who was also graduated high school. So two fucking losers at this point, right? And we were making out. And you know what's funny is I remember 50 Cent. It's that birthday song or whatever. He's
Go
like, I don't-
shorty.
yeah.
It's a birthday.
So every time I hear like I don't what is the line, like I don't have I don't
like
have
it.
sex, or I don't make love, I have sex, or something like that. However that line
Yeah.
goes, I think about the two of those guys because that song was fucking playing in the
Wow.
background. And
Wait,
I'm like,
tell us how it
Dude,
started,
is
though.
this how?
What
wait,
was the
is this
situation?
why Jess is into like having two dudes?
I think that started.
That was
it.
the beginning.
yeah.
I really-
Did you enjoy it?
I really didn't care for the other guy, like, because I had I guess a history with the other guy, the first guy, the popular one that I was kind of fucking around with. So I really liked him, and I kind of wanted to bag him again. But then like his friend being there was just like kind of this really cool thing that we did. All of a sudden, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this.
Wait, but I need to know. Were
Like,
they
how it
also
happens?
making
no,
out?
okay, so
yeah, Jess like 16-year-old Jess is sitting there like, I hope you guys fuck.
if they had started making out, that probably would have been really fucking cool. But no, so
That's not what I thought was going to come out of your mouth.
So the guy, one guy was in the driver's seat, the other guy was in the passenger seat, and it was like a big truck. Like I'm from Texas. It was a big truck. And so I'm sitting in the middle because it's like a huge like seat. So there's plenty of space. And so like I'm like sitting in the middle, I like make out with this guy while the other guy's like kind of like rubbing me like on my clit and stuff, or like trying to get me started. Then I like turn around to this guy and I start making out with him.
Whoa.
And then after a while I was like, okay, the guy that I actually liked, like that I already had sex with before, like he kisses better, he smells better, he tastes better, everything's better about him. So like I was trying to figure out how to get out of it after a while, because I was like, okay, now I'm like going back and forth. I'm like, I really am not into this one. And then he starts touching me and I'm kind of like, no, I just kind of want the first one. Like, I just want this one. So that was kind of my first, I guess that's my only
I'm
time
sorry.
ever like
I
doing
gotta
anything
ask.
with two guys.
So when you guys got into the truck,
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the plan?
were you
don't think
like,
it was
let's
planned.
smoke a cigarette,
No.
let's smoke a blunt, or was it just like,
Let's hang out in the
I-
truck.
I know, I think it was-
share.
I think it was like we were gonna go somewhere or maybe go to the next house party or something. So he just turned on the truck and like we're listening to music and we're kind of talking. It's like before, like we're like, you know, like when you're getting ready to go somewhere, sometimes you're just kind of in the car like doing things or like kind of fucking around for a minute before you actually leave to go somewhere. So we kind of it just took longer to leave. And then I guess that 50 Cent song really got to me, you know, it really turned me on for some reason. And I was down. And then I'm just surprised. I wonder if they like had thought about it or planned
Do you
it
think
out.
that popular guy was trying to pawn you off on his friend?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, because I wound up actually I think his friend, because his friend was the one with the truck, so we went somewhere else, and I think I wound up leaving with him and just went to the first guy's house anyway. So I think if he was trying to pawn me off, he wouldn't have taken me home. I think he was just kind of like
his mind.
I think he was
He's like,
he
I'll
was like,
keep her.
okay, this girl's freaky, I'll take her back.
Oh my god!
But yeah, I don't know. It was crazy, but I just I don't know.
My Christian guilt alarm bells are ringing right now, and it's like sinner.
I don't regret it. I don't regret it though. I don't regret it at
Like
all.
Game of Thrones, shame.
Shame. I feel no shame. Actually, I wish I could do that again. If any guys
But
are
you're
okay
single
with,
now, yeah.
if any guys
True.
are okay with making out with me with an additional man in the room, let me know.
And you want them to make out though too, right?
I mean, they don't have to, but if they will, I'm down to walk.
There's like a weird bit of like admiration for you in that, because I'm like, wow, I can't believe she's doing that. But it's so funny because like you guys just made out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've had like I don't know. I feel like I've had really positive experiences with sex, and like I don't know if it was just like because even if people were kind of like, maybe the popular guy was kind of using me, and people let me know like, oh, he's kind of using you or whatever, like still the sex part of it was still so positive in
That's
my
true.
eyes. So like even making out with two guys at one time, like even if they were talking about me behind my back or anything, I'm like, I don't even know. Like I was like, it was so fun. Like I
Yeah.
just enjoyed it, you know?
That's true. Because
Yeah.
even when the popular guy was taking advantage of me, I didn't know in the moment.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like he was being mean.
Yeah.
It was just like we were both having consensual sex. And,
And
then later he hurt me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
feelings wise.
I'm lucky though, because unlike Bose, no one ever spread bad rumors about me or like talked trash about me, or like my reputation wasn't ruined by any of this. Like I went to a really small school too. My entire school was like 200 people.
Wow.
So I
the
think
whole school.
The whole high
Damn.
school was like 200 people, maybe 250 max. I think my graduating class was like 75.
Damn.
Wow.
So
That's
everyone knew
tiny.
each other. It was tiny. Like no one gave a shit though. We were all just like chill.
Yeah.
So
Damn,
it was
dude.
great.
Okay, so like I didn't expand too much on mine, and like coming back in hot with a Debbie Downer, but I think it's also like
Right.
kind of like a thing. So the school that I went to, I had two best friends. We were a trio, and guys, trios are always off balance. They're always off balance. And the girl that was kind of the leader of our pack was like a total narcissist. Even now, this girl's like really weird, still really weird. And I didn't pick up on certain things. Like a lot of guys liked her. She was a year younger, but the sophomores really, really liked her. And there was a group of really popular guys, maybe like 7 or 8 of them. And she would come over during lunch and sit on one guy's lap. And then our other friend would kind of stand next to her. And she would tell me I had to go sit at another table. And then one time she made me sit on the floor.
What
and
the-
like I did not like
What?
register this
Wow.
kind of like abuse that was happening. And so she was dating a guy from the group. Another girl was kind of talking to different guys from the group. And to kind of fit in, I started talking to one of the guys from the group, which is the guy I lost my virginity to. And it's like they gave me the stupidest guy. Like he had really
Aw.
long hair. He fucking probably, I don't know, he probably smelled bad. I don't know. Like his face was okay, but he was like, he had a stutter. Like he was like he was kind of the joke of the whole group. And they,
I feel bad for that guy.
yeah. And so
He's getting roasted right now.
yeah, but so
I
this
feel
guy,
bad for Bose. She ended up
in
with
order
That's
to
true.
like kind of become relevant in his own group, he just made a really, really, really awful rumor up about me.
Oh, I don't feel bad for him anymore.
Yeah, he made up
No,
a
fuck
horrible
no.
rumor about me. And I mean, it spread everywhere, like to seniors, to like everyone. I had people leaving MySpace comments, like calling me this really awful name. And like, I had to like move to a different high school. And I spent periods like during lunch period eating lunch in the bathroom because both of
Damn.
my friends would like, or just sitting in the bathroom stalls. I would go in a bathroom stall and lock the door, and I would stay there for 30 minutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then like, or I would skip classes that I had with those girls that were my friends, and they'd call me after school like, "Hey, are you coming over?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm coming over." You know, like that was literally like my high school experience. Like it was
God.
awful. It like really fucking ruined sex for me. It really
What
like
grade were you in?
we were not freshmen. We were sophomores. Yeah. And so no, these guys must have been juniors. And so I ended up having to leave, and that was just the first high school I left from. I went to 4 different high schools. Like
Holy
my
shit.
yeah, we
4?
got to do a high school episode because like this shit. I'm sure you guys.
Oh
you
hell
guys-
yeah! I got a lot of high school memories.
Yeah, are they good?
Yeah,
Mine aren't.
I really don't understand like why high school kids are so fucking mean about sex stuff, because it's like everyone's going in that direction. Like everyone's
It's a projection.
starting
It
to
is.
lose their virginity.
Insecurity.
They're about to go
They're
off
embarrassed.
to college. Like why are girls so mean to each other?
Yeah, I think
It's the
it's an
guys
easy
too,
thing to
though.
like prey on. Like they can lie about what happened in the bedroom, or they can lie about your body, or they can lie about something that happened,
Yeah.
and no one really knows. And then people in high school, they're kids, and they're just like, "Yeah, that's true. Haha. At least it's not me."
Yeah, they spread it
Yeah.
like wildfire
Yeah.
and they believe it. I think
Yeah.
like they're kind of like the whole like Twitterverse right now, where it's like, get the attention off of me. Like in case I make a
Yes.
mistake, like I'm gonna put all of the attention on this girl over here and just watch her get crushed.
And it's still happening like in high schools. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
There's-
sorry for if anyone's still in high school. Like, oh, it's gonna get better. I promise.
And college
know.
happens in colleges too, or like girls, get drunk and have like a bad night where like they didn't really do anything wrong,
Yeah.
but next thing you know, some guy's like, "Oh, 4 of us fucked her," and it's
Yeah.
like, "No, you didn't."
And then
Yeah.
now
you
it's
know,
probably it's even worse with like everyone having a cell phone and social media. And things
Yeah.
get
Oh,
spread.
God,
and,
I
like
can't
things could
imagine.
get
Dude,
doctored.
I
oh
didn't
my
have
fucking
that.
god.
Yeah, like Photoshop and
Or
shit
like,
too.
can you imagine being in high school and everyone can see how many Instagram followers you have, and that's all that
No.
matters?
Oh my god, I would
Yeah.
be so much more insecure than I already was.
I
Like
can't-
I already was that way.
I
Yeah.
feel so bad for kids in high school today. Oh my god,
Same.
that just really hit me too.
Yeah.
Like imagining like dealing with social media
and then
cell
everyone can
phones
see
and
it.
everything.
It's true.
Texting, like,
I mean, I
all
was in
that
high
shit.
school with MySpace, and like top 8 was like, oh my god, are you on that person's top 8, or who's in your top? Like it's just
Oh,
like
shit.
so minor,
Oh.
but like now it's like insanely.
Dude, there
it's
was
way
nothing
more.
about social media when I was in high school. I don't think like it literally did not matter. We didn't have it. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have nothing when I was in high school. So I just can't even imagine.
Yeah, or like one thing that I'm like, I feel like this happened. This actually happened to a girl when I was like, in college. This was before, or not college, when I was in my senior year. This is when iMessage wasn't even a thing. It was just SMS. I remember there was a really nerdy girl in school, and she had accidentally sent a nude to somebody, and
Oh,
she was like
no.
17, and people started passing it around. I can't imagine, young girls taking a photo or doing something,
Yeah.
and it gets passed around because now everyone has a cell phone.
Yeah.
Everybody has a cell phone,
That's crazy. We
Yeah.
used to have Snake.
on the Nokia.
that was
Oh
the
my
most,
God.
just the
That's
little
what we
game.
had in
Y'all-
my day.
Y'all remember that Kelly Rowland music video where she was texting, but it was
Oh,
Excel
yeah,
on
on
her
Excel.
phone?
Yeah.
It
On her
was like, it was
sidekick.
like, where
Call
she-
me back. or
Yeah, where
something.
you at?
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. Like, oh
So
god.
dumb.
They used to have to put messages in pagers, like where you could like spell out words with numbers.
Oh yeah.
And that was our form of text
and to like
messaging.
decode the numbers.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow, guys.
Yeah, I mean, high school's a rough thing, but
We
you
could do
know
a
what?
whole thing on high school.
I think
Whole episode.
anybody who is going through a rough time when they're younger, like in your 20s or so, you are learning and growing so much. And I hate to say it, but everyone that fucking peaked in high school, because I think we've all seen it, they didn't have to learn any skills. They got by just by being hot, popular, rich, whatever it was. And now suddenly at 23, 24, they have to learn how to be a functioning person. Whereas a lot of us have been beat down in our youth, and you live through it and it becomes a major strength.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you're going through anything shitty, write it down, like figure it out, solve it, and keep going, because you're going to turn into a dope ass person.
That's true. Makes you
Yes.
stronger.
Amen. Also, be sure to subscribe and all of that stuff, and sponsors.
Yes, and we want to give a final shout out to our sponsors. For 20% off your first purchase, visit nativedeodorant.com and use promo code BTCH20 during checkout. And also visit noom.com/BTCH to start your trial today, as well as thank you to ShoeDazzle. Go to ShoeDazzle.com/BTCH to get your first style for as low as $10. Thank you, guys.
Oh, and by the way, just really quickly, I really like when it's a conversation in the comments. It really makes me feel less alone when I share a story and then people are like, oh, I relate to that. So if you have a story or a similar story or something that we didn't even mention that you're like, did anyone else go through this? Leave it in the comments because
Yeah.
I want to read it. I'm
I read
sure
the
a lot of
comments.
other
We
people want to
respond.
read it. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.